On a warm and sunny 65-degree afternoon, Fox Sports presents the NFL. Today is Super Bowl 54. Welcome to Super Bowl Sunday. The Vince Lombardi Trophy will be handed out to the winner of tonight's contest between the NFC champions, the San Francisco 49ers, and the AFC champion, the Kansas City Chiefs. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Miami, and welcome to the Super Bowl. I'm Tamir Moore. Thank you so much for being with us. Well, here we are. We started the season so long ago. This has been a 6-month journey, and now it comes down to one final game here tonight to determine a Super Bowl champion. Both teams have worked hard to be here. They both deserve to be here. Obviously, both of these two teams won 2 home games each during the NFL playoff for their respective sides in order to get to the Super Bowl game. We'll detail their stories and what a win will mean for each side as we continue. But let's just say this. Miami, Florida is a beautiful place to host the Super Bowl. The weather's not going to be a factor for either one of these two teams. I am really looking forward to the Super Bowl matchup that we'll be bringing to you. And please note that this pregame hit will be a lot longer in length than my usual pregame hits, which are about a minute long. We'll see how long this goes, but let's get right into it. So the National Football League is commemorating the end of its 100th season here in Miami tonight, with Super Bowl 54 featuring the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers, the designated road team, and the AFC champion, the Kansas City Chiefs, the designated home team. Of course, Fox will televise the game with kickoff slated for 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Of course, you can catch a 4-hour pregame show with Kurt Menefee, Howie Long, Terry Bradshaw, Michael Strahan, Jimmy Johnson, Jay Glazer, Greg Olson, Carissa Thompson, Christina Pink, and company beginning at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's talk about the actual game, though, because I think y'all are interested in how these two teams got to where they are here today. Including the postseason, 49er quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, who has a record of 23-5 with a winning percentage of 8.21, and Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who has a record of 27-8 and a winning percentage of 7.71, have a combined career winning percentage of .794, the highest combined winning percentage among opposing Super Bowl quarterbacks starting minimum of 25 starts. So, clearly, there's a lot at stake for both teams. Let's break them down one by one. So, if the San Francisco 49ers win, San Francisco will record their 6th Super Bowl victory, tied with, of course, New England and Pittsburgh. As you know, they both have won 6 titles each for the most Super Bowl title by one franchise. San Francisco also won Super Bowl 16 against Cincinnati, Super Bowl 19 against the Miami Dolphins. They won Super Bowl 23 against the Bengals again. They won Super Bowl 24 against Denver after the 1989 season in New Orleans. And San Francisco's most recent Super Bowl victory came in this very stadium 25 years ago. It's Super Bowl 29, in which they defeated the then San Diego Chargers 49-26. San Francisco will become just the second club in NFL history to win a Super Bowl after finishing the previous season with 4 or fewer wins, joining the 1999 St. Louis Rams. And you remember Dick Vermeil was the head coach. The 1999 St. Louis Rams started the year with Trent Green as their quarterback. Then Trent Green gets hurt. Kurt Warner comes in, and the Rams, as you know, went on a magical carpet ride, 13-3 record. The 1999 Rams are dubbed, of course, the greatest show on turf. San Francisco wins Super Bowl for the first time in 25 years. Like we said, the last time the 49ers won the Super Bowl was in this very stadium, which the NFL had. The 49ers played the Chargers here in Super Bowl 29 back in 1995. Then, San Francisco concluded the NFL's 75th season with a 49-26 win, as I mentioned before, against the then San Diego Chargers here in Miami. Now, head coach Kyle Shanahan. You know his father, Mike Shanahan. He won 2 Super Bowls in Denver in the late 90s. They'll become the first father and son head coaches to win Super Bowls. Mike won Super Bowl 32 and 33 while he was the Denver head coach, and of course, John Elway was his quarterback. With a win for San Francisco, that means the 49ers will improve to 6-1 in Super Bowl and 3-0 in Miami Super Bowl. Because remember, they won here in Miami 2 other times. Super Bowl 23 after the 1988 season, and Super Bowl 29 after the 1994 season. Meanwhile, let's flip it over. Let's talk about Kansas City. Now, the Chiefs win. Think about it. First of all, this is Kansas City's first Super Bowl since the 1969 season. This is their first Super Bowl in 50 years. Kansas City appeared in 2 of the first 4 Super Bowls. They beat the Green Bay, they lost to the Green Bay Packers rather in Super Bowl 1, but they did beat Minnesota in Super Bowl 4. And Kansas City has not been back to the big game ever since, but here they are with a young quarterback, an explosive offense, and a great defense. Nearly 50 years to the day of the last Super Bowl appearance, January 11, 1970, Super Bowl 4, Kansas City would have won their first championship, assuming they win tonight, in 5 decades. In the 60th season of the Chiefs franchise, the Vince Lombardi Trophy will return to Kansas City for the first time since the AFL merged with the NFL prior to the 1970 season. Lamar Hunt, who founded this Kansas City franchise in 1960 and passed away in 2006, helped to create the AFL. He also asked then NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle to call the game the Super Bowl. Head coach Andy Reid would win his first Super Bowl. Reid would have 222 career victories would have, including the playoff. Only 5 coaches in the history of the NFL have more victories, including the postseason. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes would become the second youngest quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. Ben Roethlisberger in Super Bowl 40, when the Seahawks and Steelers played in Pittsburgh, defeated Seattle, is the other person in this category that Mahomes would join, assuming that Patrick Mahomes today would get the job done. What a turnaround story for the San Francisco 49ers, though. Last year, San Francisco only won 4 games. They won 13 games this year. They become just the 3rd team to advance to the Super Bowl, winning 4 fewer games the previous year, joining the 1999 St. Louis Rams, who were 4-12 in 1998, and the 1988 Cincinnati Bengals, who were 4-11 back in 1987. The 49ers earned their trip to Miami with a 37-20 win against the Packers 2 weeks ago in the NFC Championship game. Running back Raheem Mostert rushed for 220 yards, the second most ever in an NFL postseason game, trailing only Pro Football Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson's 248 rushing yards for the Los Angeles Rams on January 4th, 1986. Mostert also became the 3rd player in postseason history to rush for at least 4 touchdowns in a single game, joining Ricky Warder, who has 5, and McGarrett Blunt, who had 4. Quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo has a 23-5 career record as a starter, including the postseason. And of course, Jimmy G, who was the understudy for Tom Brady for 3.5 years in New England, makes his first career Super Bowl start. Tight end George Kittle has 2,945 career receiving yards and surpassed Pro Football Hall of Famer Mike Ditka, 2,774, for the most receiving yards by a tight end in his first preseason in league annuals. Wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders, who started this year in Denver, was acquired by the 49ers in a trade, joined Pro Football Hall of Famers, the late great Walter Payton, the longtime Bears great of course, and Charger great of course, with Damian Tomlinson, along with Odell Beckham Jr. as the only non-quarterback to record both a passing and receiving touchdown in multiple games since 1970, the year of the AFL-NFL merger. Wide receiver Deebo Samuel, the rookie from South Carolina, had 3 games this season with at least 100 receiving yards, the most by a rookie in franchise history. Rookie defensive lineman Nick Bosa, the rookie from Ohio State, who had their brother Joey played with the Chargers, recorded 3 sacks in San Francisco's first 2 playoff games. He becomes just the 3rd rookie since 1982, when the indivisible sack became an official statistic, to record at least 4 sacks in a single postseason, joining Greg Townsend, 4.5 sacks in 1983, and Garen Verrett, who had 4 back in 1985. Defensive lineman Eric Armstead has recorded a sack in San Francisco's 2 postseason games this year, and each of them, quarterback Richard Sherman has registered an interception in both the divisional round against Minnesota and the NFC Championship against Green Bay. Defensive lineman Dee Ford spent his first 5 NFL seasons with Kansas City and recorded a career-high 13 sacks and 7 forced fumbles with the Chiefs in 2018. So obviously, Dee Ford knows Kansas City very well, right? So it's going to be really emotional for him. Let's talk about Kansas City now. Kansas City, they also had, as we said, a great season too. Kansas City, as we mentioned before, they were surprising a lot of people, don't you think? Because Kansas City, they got the number 2 seed with a 12-4 record. And you know why Kansas City got the number 2 seed? Because, of course, they beat the Chargers in Week 17. Of course, New England had a stunning loss against Miami. And thus, Kansas City was the number 2 seed. They beat Houston after being down 24-0 in the divisional round. Then they beat Tennessee after trailing in that game 35-24. Mahomes, the quarterback, led Kansas City from a 10 deficit in the AFC Championship game, giving Kansas City first lead on a highlight reel 27-yard run just prior to halftime. He also threw for 294 yards and 3 touchdowns. Wide receiver Sammy Watkins caught 7 passes for 114 yards, including a 60-yard touchdown. Earlier, Kansas City captured the AFC West Division title. 12-4 record was how they finished the regular year for a 4th straight year, the longest streak in franchise history. Kansas City has scored at least 30 points in each of Mahomes' first 4 career postseason starts, tied for the 2nd longest streak in the Super Bowl era. At 24 years and 138 days old on Sunday, he is the 5th youngest quarterback to start a Super Bowl. With a victory, Mahomes will become the youngest player to win both an NFL MVP award and a Super Bowl championship, surpassing Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith, 24 years, 233 days old, on the last day of his MVP 1993 season. Mahomes recorded 75 touchdown passes and 9,238 passing yards in his first 30 career games, both the most by any player for 30 career games in NFL history. Running back Damian Williams has had 4 touchdowns this postseason, including 3 in Kansas City's divisional round win against Houston. Williams has 9 total touchdowns in the first 5 playoff games, tied with Pro Football Hall of Famer Terrell Davis, 9, and Larry Fitzgerald, 9, for the most by a player in his first 5 postseason games in NFL history. Wide receiver Tyreek Hill has 21 career touchdowns of at least 40 yards, tied with Pro Football Hall of Famer Jerry Rice, who also has 21, for the first most such touchdowns in a player's first 4 seasons in NFL history. Tight end Travis Kelce became the first tight end in NFL history with 4 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons since 2017. Hill and Kelce has combined for 7,795 receiving yards, the most by a wide receiver tight end teammate duo over a 3-season span since the AFL-NFL merger 50 years ago. So, I know that was a lot. I know I made a few mistakes there, but I just hope that you are ready for what I believe is going to be a terrific Super Bowl game. San Francisco and Kansas City cannot wait to get this one started. Kickoff is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on Fox. This is Tamir Moore saying so long, and I hope you enjoy the game.